Ben Shapiro is so embarrassing. He's so embarrassing. And I'm actually really glad that he is starting to lose influence and cachet in the conservative movement. A lot of that has to do with the fact that he's a giant liar and a total fraud when it comes to free speech, which is how he made a lot of his money, was by talking about how much he cared about free speech. And of course, since he fired Candace Owens, so much of their other dirty laundry has come out, and now they're losing subscribers, losing some of their base. Good. But since he is still hovering here right now, I want to point out another lie that he told. Now, he's not alone in this lie. This lie is being repeated by Republicans, conservatives, mainstream media, corporate media, all of our so-called journalists, our president, as well as a bunch of paid hacks that are all over Twitter, joining the lie chorus to claim that pro-Palestinian protesters protesting outside of a synagogue that was holding an illegal real estate event to sell off real estate properties to settlers from illegally occupied Palestinian land. So people were protesting that, because it's illegal under international law and it's not yours to sell. But of course, no one's reporting that. No one's reporting that. This liar and all the other liars that are talking about it are trying to make it seem like people were just protesting the synagogue because they're religious bigots, as you'll see him do here.
When you have people in the United States who are showing up outside synagogues and beating people up because they're attempting to get in to go to some sort of real estate conference, which is what happened in Los Angeles over the weekend.
Real estate conference,
That's a problem for the United States. That's not particularly a problem for Israel. That is, in fact, what happened over the weekend. According to the Wall Street Journal, pro-Palestinian protesters clashed with pro-Israeli demonstrators and blocked access to an LA synagogue Sunday in a violent episode condemned by President Biden and other leaders as anti-Semitic. Well, I mean, it is. If you're standing outside a synagogue to block people from going into the synagogue because you don't like Israel, imagine that the roles were reversed for just a moment. There was a terrorist attack somewhere and people started chanting outside of mosques and blocking people from getting in. What do you think the media reaction would be?
Yeah, let's talk about if the roles were reversed. Because honestly, if I were a Muslim or an Arab person in this country, I'd be ripping my fucking hair out and losing my mind. Because the amount of lying and gaslighting you guys keep doing to them and the dismissal of what they're going through in this country is fucking crazy making. So let's play the game of if it were on the other foot. First of all, if you're gonna use an analogy, if this was happening in a mosque, what do you think that the media would say? I'll tell you what they wouldn't do. They wouldn't be running cover and lying about it the way that CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, and all the other media outlets are lying about it. They wouldn't be going out there like Van fucking Jones calling it a pogrom and totally misrepresenting what would happen like you just did. Because the first person to get violent at that protest, of course, was a Zionist who attacked one of the pro-Palestinian protesters. The entire media has completely ignored the context of the story, the real estate event, and the reason why the protesters were there. They have outright lied. So that's the media on this hand. If this happened at a mosque, my guess is that the media wouldn't report it at all. And how do I know that? Oh, I don't know. Maybe because there was a woman in Texas that just got arrested because she tried to drown a Muslim child. Where'd you hear that? Did you hear that a lot in the media? Do you see President Biden condemning it? Do you see CNN talking about it and the huge problem we have with Islamophobia and anti-Arab bigotry in this country? Do you see that? No. No statement from Biden. Nothing on CNN. Nothing on MSNBC. Where's Van Jones? Where's Van Jones when this woman got arrested because she was literally trying to drown Palestinian children, and I don't see Van Jones anywhere? Awfully quiet. He's too busy pandering on CNN. There have been no major media outlets that have actually reported the truth about what happened at that real estate event. An event that settlers were going to that are not from the country to illegally buy land in occupied Palestinian territory. But none of you guys want to talk about that. You don't want to mention that that was the reason why there was a protest because that looks really, really bad. That looks really inconvenient. So if you're going to compare it to people outside of a mosque protesting, then you're going to have to make it like this, okay? Oh, there was just like an event at this mosque being held by a Saudi real estate developer in which they were selling property that belonged to American citizens to other Saudis. How do you think that would go down? Because if you're going to compare it to a mosque, you're going to have to talk about what they were doing. The lying and the gaslighting is so out of control and next level. The hysteria. But you guys have to lie about it in order to get people whipped up into a frenzy. Because if you actually told the truth about what was happening, most people would be like, most people wouldn't agree with you. So you have to lie and say that this is about discrimination and racism, and you gotta lie and not mention what was actually happening there in order to try to get people on your side, but you already know the media is on your side. This like mad victim complex that they all have where they're like, the media is never on your side. The media is always on your side, bitch. Just turn on mainstream media. They are always on your side. The people that are actually getting victimized in this country right now are Muslim Americans and Arab Americans, but you don't hear it because the media doesn't give a fuck about them. And they don't have enough political power in this country to get the media or politicians to give a shit about what they're going through.